human growth hormone is produced in your pituitary gland, and it plays a key role in growth, in body composition, in cellular repair, and in metabolism. It can boost muscle growth and strength, exercise performance, but a lot of it is released as a response to stress or injury. And so when I talk tonight about Eterno, I want you to understand that it's not always as easy. When you work with natural products, it's not always as easy as saying, give you some of this and it will create more of this. Because everything in your body is a metabolic process. And I don't know that there's a term out there yet that is the growth hormone metabolic pathway, but I believe that the ingredients that are in Eterno are truly supporting the GH metabolic pathway. And I'll talk a little bit about why and how. So on these metabolic pathways, balance is a very, very important thing. And everything with pituitary starts in the endocrine system with your hypothalamus. And that sends the nerve impulses to the pituitary that deal with all types of hormones, GH being one of them. But interestingly, there is a growth hormone and an inhibiting side to growth hormone. And so as you're delivering nutrients, I believe that some of the clinical studies I'm going to talk about have a stimulatory effect that is very important, but just as important, it has a support for the inhibiting effect and of what can decrease growth hormone. And so I feel like in our bodies, balance is very, very important. And if we stick with healthy natural ingredients, we are better likely to achieve a fantastic results for the customers, but a healthy balance that people can use for a very long time. And so, I'm going to skip any more talk about the hormones that are in the body and just go right to the white paper. And we released this white paper by just taking some of the clinical science that have been published on these ingredients. And I'll start by saying there are primary key ingredients in Eterno, and there are secondary supporting ingredients that are in Eterno. One of the primary key ingredients is a combination of zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6. This is a fantastic ingredient that has been evaluated over the last, I would say, 5 years and been proven to increase IGF-1 and free testosterone and subsequently increase growth hormone. And that is very important. So I would call the zinc, the magnesium, and the vitamin B6 macronutrients that have a direct stimulatory effect. But they work together on the different types of the way this hormone is balanced as production signals transfer in your endocrine system from the hypothalamus to the pituitary. So, for example, there are studies showing that zinc inhibits this thing called 5-alpha reductase, which is a real drain on the production of growth hormone. So they have done studies where people that have baldness or thinning hair in both men and women that have a low sex drive have a high 5-alpha reductase in their blood. And additional clinical studies that show that zinc inhibits 5-alpha reductase, which is a direct stimulation of the GH inhibitory hormone. And so I love to think of natural ingredients as like yin and yang. How do you create the best of nature that has a positive impact on the things that are good for your body and a decreasing impact on the things that are bad for your body? So in this instance, the macronutrients of zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6 have both a stimulatory effect and they have a reducing effect. And so that is one way that the ingredients in Eterno help to support the healthy production of growth hormone, and as we say in the white paper, healthy hormone levels, because remember, there are many different hormones that are in your body, and some act to increase growth hormone and some act to decrease growth hormone. Some of the things that one of the reasons the vitamin B6 is a very important part of these clinical studies is that it is a direct stimulation of synthesizing amino acids that relate to neurotransmission. So if you're trying to get the signaling system related to hormone production to work better, that's how vitamin B6 becomes an important part of this. Similarly, the magnesium plays a crucial role in something called transcription factors. Transcription factors are actually the proteins that bind to DNA and control the transfer of genetic material to RNA. Put simply, they supply the instructions that determine whether or not the DNA instructions are read or misread or followed. So if your body has this natural system that it is trying to increase growth hormone, or at least produce growth hormone in part as a response to stress, because it helps to stimulate the cell growth that can respond to stress or injury, then it makes sense to me how these ingredients or how these nutrients could have a positive impact. And so we're looking at clinical studies with IGF-1 increase against placebo of 25% and free testosterone increase against placebo of about 45 to 52%, and consequently growth hormone increases linked to the IGF-1 and the free testosterone increases. And so what I try and do when I look at ingredients and I look at clinical studies behind ingredients is see how is this actually working inside of your body. So one key ingredient to Eterno is this combination of zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6. And I want to say that it has been fantastic working with this supplier. They're a very, very large multi-billion-dollar company out of Europe, and it has taken us many months to get all the paperwork back and forth between our two companies to where we have access to this phenomenal ingredient. So key ingredients. One is this a macro mineral with vitamin B6 combination. Another key ingredient are amino acids. I'm going to talk more right now about amino acids because we have clinical studies in the Journal of Endocrinology showing that L-arginine works in a similar fashion to the magnesium and the zinc. There are clinical studies showing that L-arginine can increase secretion of growth hormone, and it works through the cell walls of your bloodstream. And similar to why L-arginine is so important for the nitric oxide pathway, L-arginine can stimulate growth hormone. But in addition, there's additional clinical studies that L-arginine can block key inhibitors of growth hormone, similar to zinc. And so once again, with the macronutrient key ingredient group of amino acids, you have what we're trying to achieve is healthy balance, healthy production of growth hormone. And in addition to the L-arginine, we support that with beta-alanine and L-glutamine. And I'm going to hold off on another one of the amino acids, GABA, and talk about that because it's kind of a separate key ingredient. But the L-arginine, the beta-alanine and the L-glutamine are all important clinical studies, particularly on L-arginine and L-glutamine, and the direct impact on growth hormone. So what we're trying to achieve, again in summary, is where it's positive, you want a stimulatory effect. When it's negative, you want an effect that decreases that type of hormone production, all along what I am calling the growth hormone metabolic pathway. But here's some interesting things. You know, when I first talked about this product, it's pretty clear you can find things on the internet about the decrease of growth hormone. But what I've been amazed at as I dig into the research is how many things that we can choose as healthy consumers that impact the decrease of growth hormone. For example, if you never exercise, your growth hormone, your natural growth hormone, will decrease faster than somebody your age that exercises regularly. So that's important. If you eat tons of sugar and you have high intakes of sugar, your body has to produce so much insulin to counteract the digestion and metabolism of the sugar that the cycle where it's like that robs from the GH metabolic pathway. And so if you've got somebody that's unhealthy because they never exercise and they eat tons and tons of refined sugar, they are going to have an extreme acceleration of how quickly GH goes down in their body. And so what I've loved about the entire process of the creation of Eterno is how it's helped me understand how all of these things work together. So again, in review, key ingredients, macronutrients, the zinc mono-L-methionine aspartate and the magnesium aspartate coupled with the vitamin B6. Key, that's a key. The amino acids, namely L-arginine with the L-glutamine and beta-alanine, that is another key. The third key that I want to talk about is GABA, because growth hormone is produced primarily when you sleep. About 75% of the growth hormone that's produced in a 24-hour cycle is produced while you're sleeping. So if you have poor sleep, you're going to naturally have an impact on your GH levels. And so we have two other key ingredients that work together to help create fantastic, deep, restful sleep. One is GABA and one is melatonin. We use a natural form of GABA that is made by a fermentation process that's actually the same lactobacillus strain that's used to make kimchi in Korea. I thought that was very interesting. Its main goal is to decrease stress and increase calmness so that you can get a deep restorative sleep. So they have clinical studies on GABA that show that it increases your deep restorative sleep by 50 and 100%. And consequently, most of the growth hormone that's produced is produced during that deep restorative sleep phase. And so additional clinical studies show that GABA increases the release of growth hormone by as much as 200%. And when I dug into the data, the whey protein at 10 grams has a positive impact on growth hormone production. So if you take 10 grams of whey protein during the day and you exercise, you're going to increase more growth hormone. But then they did the study where they did the whey protein with GABA and the whey protein without GABA, and the increase was something like 2.5 times the increase with only whey protein. And so GABA is a key element in the formula, and coupled with melatonin, it helps create and support deep restorative sleep. So interesting, just something, and again, I don't recommend that you all spend your time doing this, because then you will never be able to go and build your teams. You'll just get lost in science. But there is an actual study from another journal called the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology that's headlined, "Melatonin Stimulates Growth Hormone Secretion Through Pathways Other Than the Growth Hormone Releasing Hormone." And they actually studied the metabolic pathway of GHRH, and then they studied the pathway of the inhibiting hormones that are released. And once again, they were showing there are two different ways to create healthy growth hormone. And so it's an important part coupled with the GABA. And so those are, from my perspective, the key beneficial drivers. And we tried to make the white paper all about the key beneficial ingredients with the clinical studies behind those ingredients. But there are also some fantastic supporting ingredients. One of those is the withania, which is also known as ashwagandha, and that, as many of you know, has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for more than 2,000 years. And it is an important part of regulating or modulating hormone production, particularly relieving adrenal fatigue. So for anybody that's like living an extreme lifestyle, it could be an extreme athlete. It could be that you're just pushing your body really hard, and adrenal fatigue is something that's happening to you, then you're going to have a dramatic decrease in the amount of growth hormone produced. And so if you can support, relieving adrenal fatigue, then you're going to get better processing or secretion of growth hormone from your pituitary gland. So that's another, I would say, a supporting ingredient. Another supporting ingredient is aloe vera, because it is a fantastic carrier. It helps increase bioavailability of other nutrients, and I would call that a transport vehicle. So we wanted aloe vera as a carrier to help do the job of assisting all of these nutrients better get into your bloodstream. You have an ingredient that is rich called trigonella, which is also known as fenugreek, and it is rich in glycosides and saponins that have a direct positive impact on the function of your pituitary gland. And then we have an additional ingredient called rubus idaeus, which is red raspberries. And this is an excellent anti-aging ingredient, primarily due to the polyphenols and the elagitannins that are healthy antioxidants to once again support healthy blood vessels and healthy blood flow. So think about the way the L-arginine is helping with that in stimulating the nitric oxide pathway, and the rubus and the L-arginine are stimulating the way the blood flows and the way those nutrients get to different parts of the body. And so, what I've tried to do here is do an overview of growth hormone production in your body, and then talk about what I see as the key players, the key nutrients, and then the minor players, which are the supporting nutrients or micronutrients. And I feel like Eterno has a absolutely fantastic combination of both macronutrients and micronutrients. So Eterno comprises of two different products. The first product is a capsule that you take at night about 30 minutes before you go to sleep, and it's designed to deliver nutrients at the very time when your body is naturally producing growth hormone. You use Eterno 5 days a week, and so the supply of the product is a 20-day supply, so you can use it 5 days a week for 4 weeks. And the reason you don't use it 2 days a week is to allow your body to continue to produce its own natural production cycles of growth hormone and not produce so much that it negatively affects the natural production. And then the other product that is part of Eterno is a topical cream. And what we've done with the topical cream is we have some of the same nutrients that are in the capsule in the topical cream. And the topical cream is designed to be used in the morning, and you can put it on the inside of your arm or the back of your neck. Those are two great places, and early to mid-afternoon. And so we tried to have a 24-hour solution for a total youth body transformation. And that is what Eterno is. Now, finally, I know what everybody's mostly interested on this call is when we're shipping Eterno. And I'll just give you an update on that. We received the key ingredient from this European supplier about 11 or 12 days ago. So we went into capsule production last week, and that has been going well. And on Wednesday or Thursday, we also received in the tubes that we had ordered for the topical Eterno, and we went ahead because it took so long to get them in and ordered 70,000 of those tubes. We received those in, and those are in the process of being silk screened. So as soon as the tubes are silk screened, we will fill them with the Eterno cream that is done, and we will start bottling Eterno capsule bottles this week. And so we are estimating that the ship date will be sometime between Friday of this week and early next week. And that is the complete update on Eterno design, formulation, production, and shipment. So once again, I want to thank everybody who took the time out of their schedules to get on this call. One of the things that I hope that Globally can do as a company is always have the utmost respect for the work it takes for somebody to go outside of their comfort zone and build a business for themselves. I know that that is not an easy thing, and as a company, we want to deeply respect that and always help you feel like the company is trying their very best to support the people that are out in the field making it happen. And so, you know, big congratulations to Laura. So awesome that you accomplished the rank of Emerald already in March. Big congratulations to Karen for accomplishing that in February. And these are just our first 2 full months actually in business with a functioning website. So I'm just so grateful for all of you that are on this call and for the great work that's out there. I look forward to building a fantastic business with each of you.